What happens if you're working with your child with their homework and they just say, I've completely forgotten square numbers? Well, I'm here to let you know the things that you need to know about square numbers by the end of year 6. The first thing is that square numbers, they're actually square, and some children don't fully understand this. So if we get a 1 by 1 square, 1 squared is 1 times 1, which is 1. The second square number is 2 times 2, or 2 squared, which is 4. And this literally makes the next size square. And now we have 3 squared, which is 3 times 3, which is 9. And 4 squared, 4 times 4, which is 16. And we're literally making squares, and obviously they carry on then forever. Next thing that you need to know is that you need to learn them. Now, most children should at least know up to 12 from their 12 times table. But I recommend, if you can, learning all the way to 20, because they crop up in so many different ways, and it's great just to have them, stored in your memory, and you can retrieve them whenever. The next thing is patterns. What patterns can we spot with square numbers, and how can we use them? Well, if we start off with 1 squared, to get to 2 squared, we need to add 3 more blocks. So we're adding 3. To get from 2 squared to 3 squared, we then add 5. To get to the next square number, we add 7. And hopefully you can see the pattern now. The amount we add is going up in 2, and it depends on the size of the previous square number. So you might say, well, how can we use this? Let's look at this problem. We've got 30 squared, and we're told that it's 1,225. But how do we find out 36 squared? Say we don't want to calculate it using, written multiplication. What we could do instead is just add on the 2 extra sides. Now they will be another 35 and another 35, so 2 sets of 35, which is 70. And we've got that extra 1 in the corner. So if we add 71, we know we get straight to the next square number, which is 1,296. Done. Lastly, what about square numbers and factors? So if we take 18, which is not a square number, and we list out its factors, we have 1 and 18, 2 and 9, and 3 and 6. It has 6 factors, and they come in pairs. Let's look at some other numbers that are not square numbers. So 3, not a square number, has 2 factors. 8 has 4 factors. 24 has 8 factors. 14 has 4 factors. So what we can say is that all of those not square numbers, they have an even number of factors. 2, 4, 6, 8 or more. They all have an even number of factors. Now let's compare that to square numbers. Here are the first 5 square numbers and their factors. What do you notice? Well, they all have an odd number of factors. If we take 3 squared, for example, it's got 3 factors. 4 squared has got 5 factors. So it's really important for children to understand that a square number will always have an odd number of factors, always, and that's because of the number that's being squared only counts once, so it's not in a pair. And all other integers will have an even number of factors. So that's been the roundup of square numbers, everything you need to know by the end of year 6. Let me know how you get on with that in the comments.